Hello everyone, this is Pratima Sonone, Assistant Professor in Statistics, Department of Statistics, KTHM College, Nasik. Our second chapter is Descriptive Statistics, in which our today's topic is Measure of Central Tendency. So, measure of central tendency is also known as average. Its definition is according to Professor A.L. Bowley, averages are statistical constants which enable us to comprehend in a single effort the significance of the whole. Means a central tendency refers to a central value or representative value of a series. For example, if we take marks of 5 students in statistics are 90, 95, 85, 92 and 97. We have to find the measure of central tendency. For this we have to arrange the data either in increasing order or in decreasing order. Suppose we arrange the data in increasing order, then the observations are 85, 90, 92, 95 and 97. And definition tells us measure or central tendency refers to a central value. From this we can see that the central value is 92. So here 92 is the central value or average. Next topic is purpose and function of central tendency. First purpose is brief description. It means after doing all operations we get a brief description of the series. As in previous example, we saw the marks of the students where our average was 92. So 92 briefly describe the whole series. So average helps us to describe whole series. Next purpose is comparison. If we compute average or central tendency, then we can compare one data with another. For example, suppose we have to compare the national income of India with the national income of USA. So the comparison is possible only when we compute averages of national income of both the countries. So we can say that on an average the per capita income of India is X and USA is Y. By comparing these averages, we can conclude that who is developed country and who is developing country. Next purpose is formulation of policies. Most of the policies are designed after computing the average. For example, companies design their policies by taking the data of last 5 years, take its average and see whether there is any increase in profit or not, and according to that they design their policies. Next purpose is statistical analysis. It means average plays an important role in any numerical analysis. Next is one value for all. One value represents all the series. Means in last example we saw that 92 represents the series, that is one value represents the all series. Next is what are the properties of good measure of central tendency or averages. First property is it should be rigidly defined. It means good average should have clear and stable definition. Stable means it will have definite and fixed value. Next property is it should be based on all the observation. Means it should be representative. Next property is it should be easy to understand and calculate. That is, average must be simple to understand and it should not be complex. A common man should be able to understand and calculate it easily. Next property is it should be capable for further algebraic treatment. That is, after computing average, it should be used to study any statistical method like correlation, regression, skewness, kurtosis or any statistical method. Next property is absolute value. The value of average be an absolute value means it is not in decimal, in fraction or in percentage. It's simply the absolute value. Last property is it should not be affected much by extreme observations. Extreme observation means very small or very large observation. A few very large or very small values in the data should not affect the value of average. Now we will see types of averages. There are two types of averages, mathematical averages and positional averages. Mathematical averages are further divided into three parts, that is arithmetic mean, geometric mean and harmonic mean. And positional averages are also divided into three parts, that is median, partition value and mode. Out of these we will study only three averages in details, that is arithmetic mean, median and mode. Before starting this, we have to go through some basic concept. So first we will see types of series. As in last chapter, we already saw that there are two types of data, ungrouped data and group data. Ungrouped data is divided into two series, that is individual series and discrete series, and group data is divided into continuous series. To understand the concept of individual, discrete and continuous series, we will take an example. Suppose, for example, out of 10 students in a class, 3 students got 45 marks in statistics, 2 students got 50 marks in statistics, 1 student got 20 marks in statistics, 2 students got 42 marks in statistics, 1 student got 40 marks in statistics and 1 student got 35 marks in statistics. Arrange the data in all type of series. Means we have to arrange this data in individual series, discrete series and continuous series. First of all, we will arrange the data in individual series. Individual series means we have to write each observation from example. We know that 3 students got 45 marks. So we write 45 3 times. Similarly, 2 students got 50 marks. So we write 50 2 times. Means we write marks for each and every student separately. And this type of series is known as individual series. Now the same data we have to arrange in discrete series. In discrete series, we take class along with its frequency. Means in first column we take their marks, and in second column we take how many students got that marks. That is, in first row we see 45 along with 3. It means 3 students have 45 marks. Similarly, 2 students have 50 marks and so on. Next type of series is continuous series. In this series, we take class interval along with its frequency. Here we make the interval of 10 marks. That is, the class intervals are 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and so on. In first class interval, that is 0 to 10, we write its frequency is 0 because no student got marks between 0 to 10. Similarly for 10 to 20. In 20 to 30, one student got 20 marks. So in 20 to 30, we write 1 as its frequency and so on. In this way, we can divide the data in 3 types of series, that is individual series, discrete series and continuous series. Our first mathematical average is arithmetic mean. It is obtained by dividing sum of values by number of items or observations. Its definition is arithmetic mean of a given set of observations is the ratio of sum of observation to the total number of observation. It is denoted by x bar. That is, its abbreviation is arithmetic mean A dot m equal to x bar equal to sum of observation divided by total number of observations. As we know that there are three types of observation: individual observation, ungroup frequency distribution and group frequency distribution. So there are three cases for calculation of arithmetic mean. First case is for ungrouped data or individual observation. Means if the observation are individual, like this type of observation. So its procedure is, if x1, x2 up to xn are n values of variable x, then their arithmetic mean denoted by x bar is given by x bar is equal to x1 plus x2 plus up to xn divided by n, that is summation of xi divided by n. For example, find the mean of 10, 15, 25, 30 and 50. Means here observations are individual observations. So since the observations are individual, the formula for arithmetic mean is x bar equal to summation of xi upon n. N means number of observation. Here number of observation 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So n is equal to 5. As the formula x bar is equal to summation of xi upon n. So x bar is equal to sum of all these observations, that is 10 plus 15 plus 25 plus 30 plus 50 divided by 5. Sum of numerator is 130. So it is 130 divided by 5, which is equal to 26. So the arithmetic mean of these 5 observation is 26. Suppose another example for calculation of arithmetic mean for individual observation is, pocket allowance of 10 students is rupees 15, 20, 30, 22, 25, 18, 40, 50, 55 and 65. Find out the average pocket allowance. So arithmetic here observations are individual observations. So the formula for individual observation for computing arithmetic mean or average is arithmetic mean x bar equals to summation of xi upon n. So first we will find n. N means number of observation. Here observations are students, n means number of students. So it is already given 10 students. So n is equals to 10, or you can individually calculate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So n is equal to 10. X bar is equal to summation of xi upon n, means sum of all these observations. So x bar is equal to 15 plus 20 plus 30 up to 65 divided by n is 10. Sum of numerator is 340, that is 340. So x bar is equal to 340 divided by 10, which is equals to 34, means arithmetic mean is 34. Therefore the average pocket allowance is rupees 34. Next method for calculation of arithmetic mean is calculation of arithmetic mean for ungrouped frequency distribution. Ungrouped frequency distribution with a single observation along with frequency. If a discrete random variable x takes values x1, x2 up to xn with respective frequency f1, f2 up to fn, as values of xi's are x1, x2 up to xn and values of frequencies are f1, f2 up to fn. Then the arithmetic mean is denoted by x bar and is given by x bar is equal to x1 f1 plus x2 f2, means multiplication of this x1 into f1 plus x2 into f2 plus x3 into f3 up to plus xn into fn divided by sum of frequency, means f1 plus f2 plus f3 up to fn, that is summation of fi xi divided by summation of fi, where fi is equal to capital N, which is equal to total frequency. Suppose for example, find out the arithmetic mean of the following distribution. Here two columns are given, weight in LBS and number of students. So as we can see that the data is of ungrouped frequency distribution, means a single observation along with its frequency is given. So the steps for computing arithmetic mean for ungrouped frequency distributions are: first is multiply the respective frequency to each value of x and obtain sum fi into xi, means we have to multiply this column into this column. So the solution is, we denote weights in LBS as xi, number of student as fi, means its frequency, and multiplication of first column into second column is fi into xi, that is 95 into 4 is equal to 380, 105 into 2 is equal to 210. Similarly 175 into 2 equal to 350, and take its total. Sum of this column is, that is capital N, is equal to 101, and sum of fi xi is 13395, means sum of 380 plus 210 plus 2070 up to 350. As we see that the formula for x bar is equal to summation of fi xi divided by summation of fi. The second step is divide the total summation of fi xi by the total frequency fi, means x bar is equal to summation of fi xi divided by capital N, or which is equal to summation of fi. Summation of fi xi is 13395, and summation of fi is equal to 101, that is N is equal to 101. 13395 divided by 101, which is equal to 132.6238. Therefore the arithmetic mean for the given distribution is 132.6238. So in this lecture we have seen that definition of central tendency, that is a central tendency refers to a central value or a representative value of a series. Then purpose and function of central tendency, and properties of good measure of central tendency. After that we saw arithmetic mean, which is denoted by x bar, and its definition is sum of observation divided by total number of observation. Arithmetic, then we saw calculation of arithmetic mean. So there are three type of data: individual observation, ungrouped frequency distribution, and group frequency distribution. So calculation for individual observation, the arithmetic mean is given by x bar is equal to summation of xi upon n, where n is number of observation. For ungrouped frequency distribution, the formula for arithmetic mean is summation of fi xi divided by summation of fi, where summation of fi equal to capital N, that is total frequency. In next lecture we will see calculation of arithmetic mean for group frequency distribution and properties of arithmetic mean. Thank you.